What up, though? Welcome to Gangsta's Paradise Podcast. It's where I kick cautionary street tales. I'm not here to encourage folks to join gangs, cliques, mobs, or crews, but this is a fair warning if you choose to cross that line. Welcome to Gangsta's Paradise. I'm glad to be back with the audience. Do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button, click that subscribe button, and click that little bell. That way you can get notifications for whenever I drop a video. Man, I had to get on here and talk about this story that's been circulating on the vlog circuit. It's been on world news, and I kept getting these notifications about these 3 missing rappers up in Michigan. I've seen the story a couple of times on my phone, just from notifications. I've seen it coming on my timeline on YouTube, but I didn't click on the news story, which is from a credible news source. And I just woke up one morning and I'm looking at YouTube and I say, you know what, let me go ahead and click on this story because it keep coming up as a notification. And I found that these 3 rappers that got found at Highland Park, which is a part of Detroit. People don't know Highland Park. They may think it's something like small suburban city or something, like something to that nature. But Highland Park is actually a sub-city of Detroit, which means it's located on the inside of Detroit. Even though they have their own mayor, their own police force, but it's still a part of Detroit. So technically, Highland Park is Detroit, even though that section or that little community, whatever you want to call it, but it's really a sub-city of Detroit. So it's still a part of Detroit. So these bodies was found at Highland Park in this abandoned building or halfway abandoned building. And they kept stressing that these rats and all this stuff was going on in this building. So they had to go through a lot of stuff and get to the bodies or whatever the case may be. And I was like, man, that's a heinous story right there. It's like a real terrible thing. So I immediately called up to Detroit. I called up to my area because they mentioned this club they supposed to be getting booked at on 7 Mile in Gratiot. I'm like, okay, that's the hood right there. It's close by. So let me call someone and see what's going on with this club. And it seems that this club is really getting a bad rap right now, being thrown in this particular investigation. I seen on one of the blogs where they said it was an actual flyer and these guys were supposed to perform there. But this club is technically not like a hip-hop club that books a lot of hip-hop acts in there. It's a different, sort of a different type of vibe in there. So we don't want to look at this club like it's this super dangerous place where people get set up at. It's black-owned. And they do have a clientele. They do have regular customers and all that. So we don't want to put this bad rap on this particular club on 7 Mile in Gratiot. But the club is mentioned in this news story. And as I go into this story, as I'm talking to people, you know, this guy, Marley Whoop, is an aspiring rapper, basically from Lansing, up in Lansing, some outside of Detroit. So as I'm talking, and they said that he has been ranting on Facebook. And that's one of the things about social media, because social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, the different platforms, you know, it's very tempting to do a ranting on there. And sometimes you can go too far with it. Literally, like it's a double-edged sword when you're dealing with something like that. It's very easy to get on social media and rant, but the way they made it seem like he was just ranting off, just going off belligerently. So at this point, I haven't seen the actual video that he allegedly had made. And so I called a couple of blog videos, and I'll be checking out some of the bloggers. They really do a good job, and that's why I'm always shouting out the bloggers, especially those guys that had some type of experience in the streets like I had, and they know the mental of the streets. They know the lessons of the streets, and that's why we use these platforms to tell people, look, you sign a contract with these streets, these are the ramifications. These what you're gonna get out of that. This is what you're gonna get out of that. That's why I say you cross that line. Hey, this is a fair warning if you cross that line. You know, and still go by choice. So I actually got a chance to see the actual live video that he had made on Facebook, which many people think what led to his demise. And the thing about it is 3 people that got shot and killed in this situation. So these other guys were just more or less tag-alongs. You know, I guess Marley Whoop, or at least it's reported or allegedly, one of the guys was the actual target. And a lot of us may not follow hip-hop like that, you know. And when his video came on, it can come off kind of confusing when he started this video. And I had to watch it a couple of times, really catch what was going on, what is people really saying. And it's just some things that stands out about this live Facebook video that Marley Whoop is making, in which many people think that's what led to his death. And plus those other 2 people that was with him. And I looked at the other blogs or whatever, they hitting it on point. There's some things, and one of the things I like about the bloggers is that they don't just add gang rules or street rules to the situation. They actually look at the mental aspect of the street person. And I think a lot of people sort of skip over that. You got to look at the mental aspect of the street person. They got certain rules they live by, and there's certain things that can activate those thoughts and those mentals. Especially if you're in the gang-banging world, they seriously look for symbolism. That's just a part of their world. And when you're talking about the world of communication, one of the very first form of communication is nonverbal communications, which means I can run into you and see you. I don't have to say nothing to you, but we're communicating with each other because I can see how your facial expression looks. You may be looking at me funny. You may be smiling. You may be angry. So when this video came on, I'm automatically looking at nonverbal communication. This mask on stood out to me. That's the first thing I noticed before he even got to talking or whatever. Again, he sounded real confused because he's trying to talk. And I don't want to disrespect this guy. We just pointing out some things that you all can pick up from and actually learn from. Because we see that a lot of people that want to be in the entertainment world or want to be a rapper or something, they real fanatic about being known as a street person. And actual authentic street people will tell you, that's not a good idea. You need to go on and just be a rapper. Just go ahead and be an entertainer. You know, that's a bad move. That's like going backwards, you know. And it really is. And it's the reality of it. So this mask just threw me off. I'm like, why you got a mask on? And then another thing that just automatically, he had this red scarf tied around his neck. That's symbolism to people that's in the gangbanging world. They will notice that. I'm not even in that world. I know about those symbolisms because it's all streets. At the end of the day, it's all street stuff. So he had this flag, and then once he started talking, he really tried to sound like, he tried to talk in a lot of street codes. It's like he wanted to be accepted from the street culture. And he got into, I guess somebody's supposed to be some type of snitch or something like that. And apparently, somebody else, whoever's supposed to be the snitch or whatever, they're getting more attention than he is. So he gets on here and take the risk of saying, y'all following that? Because you could tell because he started talking about his talents. He started talking about his talents. So I'm just going to be real. I don't mess with that. And you had to say, like, what do you have to do with what these other people got going on? These are one of those things where people actually looking for attention. And apparently, these people who's supposed to be the snitch or whatever, they're actually getting more attention than he is. So he took it upon himself to get on there and say, look, I'm the authentic street person and I'm an entertainer.
Join the GP Nation by clicking the notification button on Amazon Music and YouTube. I don't have set days where I drop episodes, so to step on the latest podcast, you have to click the notification button and join the GP Nation.
Or whatever. But he started going into whoever they snitch people in, they started mentioning names. That's like a red flag right there. You just start naming names. He really, to me, it sounded like he made a mistake and said the names and started riding with him. And he started mentioning these names. Then it's like he trying to get street credibility. Because he started talking about he went to prison. First of all, he came in with the image and the look of an authentic street person with his mask on and his red flag wrapped around his neck. Those are all red flags right there to authentic street people. And just because you go to jail or go to prison or something, that don't make you an authentic street people. I guess he thought that he could mention that he'd been in prison and he went through some stuff in prison. That's going to be a pass to street people. But then he started talking about his street. Then he started saying that he don't have the paperwork. That's another red flag. First of all, run around claiming publicly that somebody's a snitch and you don't have the paperwork to back it up. That's another red flag right there. That's definitely a red flag. So it sounds like this guy want to be accepted from the street people, but he's standing out on his own. Because it doesn't seem like he has a crew or something that was actually behind him. He didn't sound like he had a lot of power. He's trying to fit in sort of in some sort of way. And that's what it seems like. He started going into his career. I was a writer of this or that. I wrote that. He started talking a little bit about the music and all that. And people keep mentioning this club and all that. But in this video, he mentioned anything about this club at all. So, well, I guess this video happened before he passed away, obviously, but this is from a couple weeks ago. So obviously they've been looking for these guys for like a couple weeks now. But he started going into his career. I'm a good writer, this, and that. And he started mentioning other people's names. When he started mentioning these other people's names, somebody called into the live thing. And this is one of those things you have to watch out for, because you can get on these live videos and it can seem like they laughing, this, and that, but there's a lot of messages between those laughs. And this guy didn't seem to actually let that stuff register with him. It didn't resonate with him. He sort of skipped over all of that. But when these other guys coming in, you can't, like I said, this thing can be kind of confusing. So you had to actually watch this stuff, watch it. I had to watch it a couple of times, but the other guys came in, they came in very serious. These guys got their stuff together. These are the authentic, bona fide. I'm not saying these are the guys that did that to him, but I'm just merely speaking on this video. These guys came in serious. They came in the video serious, like off the top. They got their stuff together. Apparently, he thought those guys were going to come into that video and chum it up with him, like team up with him. He was looking for them to co-sign for him. And this is what he's looking for, this co-signing. But these guys came in very serious, and they had on masks as well. They brought the authentic street, and they came in and say, oh, you want to look like us? They came right in. They really started a little bit joking with him. This the tester right here. He thought they was going to come in and co-sign for him. And then they switched the video to this other third guy. This guy looked, that's when I started taking it more serious. And, you could tell that the exchange of the few words they had with each other, that really wasn't all that pleasant and well. This guy was serious. These guys were serious, so they called into this thing. And they were literally, to me, in my opinion, they were actually trying to save this guy. They were telling him all the warnings. They were telling him all the mistakes he was making. He let all that stuff fly over his head. He kept trying to act like he was cool with them. They let him know. They joked around with him a little bit. They tried to tell him, man, stick to your music, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? And then once they got through with that, they went on, cut straight to the chase. They cut straight to the chase. Hey, you ain't down with this, fall back off my name. He let all this stuff fly over his head. They started telling him all the little warnings, and they were telling him, hey, you need to fall back off of this. You need to stop doing this and that. This is the wrong move you made. He tried to play it all off. He literally he let all this stuff fly over his head. It just didn't register to him that these guys were serious. Now, I'm not saying these are the guys. Now, the reports came out. They arrested somebody in Knoxville, Tennessee, and the person was on parole or something, a parole violation. And there's another common thing that all these guys had in common, that all of them had just got out of prison. So they were all in prison together. But if you notice, Marley Whoop is actually by himself. The other three guys are actually together. So more than likely, they know Marley Whoop don't have the street credibility like that. He showed it actually in the video. It seems like he's by himself. It don't seem like he got like a crew or something. He belongs to a crew or something, that somebody that would really vouch for him. Because when you step out like that, you got to have some power. Like, you got to have some serious power in the streets to actually step out like that. And people know your power in the streets.
Gangsta's Paradise Podcast is where I kick cautionary street tales. Do me a favor, nation, and help me spread the word about this podcast. I got more in store for you all. I appreciate y'all listening. Go to my YouTube channel at Gangsta's Paradise TV1 and subscribe. I got the same logo on that channel. If you don't see this logo, then it's not GP.
And I think that was another red flag about that video, because you got to mention in Lansing. The people in Lansing, the streets of Lansing know this and that. So now you're bringing everybody in Lansing into your conversation. These just the bad moves, you know. I'm not trying to just learn from the mistakes. That's why we get on these platforms. That's why we get on these platforms. We try to tell people, listen, you want to mess around with this stuff, this is what you want to get. Now, I don't think this guy should have been killed. No, I don't. I don't think those three people should have been killed. No. But the warnings was all there. They tried to tell this guy. He let it fly over his head. They said, fall back off of this. And then once they were telling him that he trying to be friendly with them and cool and all that stuff. They noticed that this stuff is flying over his head, this guy's head. So they started pressing on him, on his image. You know, you got that red flag. Oh, he immediately took that. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. First, then another thing he said was, well, I be Ja Rule and then you be Supreme. That was like a total diss right there. He told him right there. See, that's how stuff go left field. So you constantly sending them left field. You constantly pressing those symbolism, that mental. You constantly pressing that. They trying to warn him, look, you going the wrong way with this. And it's just constantly flying over his head. So once he started pressing, he took the flag off, they started pressing him even more. He tried to stand on it a little bit. You know, he even tried to bite back at them a little bit. And then he turned around and tried to be friendly with them again. He even tried to bark back a little bit at them. He tried to even stand on the red flag. Right, he come to find out he had another scarf wrapped around his neck. He opened his jacket up or something, and he got another red flag wrapped around his neck. All this stuff is bad symbolism. You cannot play around with these people. And then he tried to stand on it a little bit because he's live on Facebook, so he can't embarrass himself in front of whoever is watching him. So he tried to stand on a little bit. I'm certified, I'm bona fide, this, and that. Then he turned around, tried to be friendly with them again. He even offered to stop by, come over to their house. Man, I'm gonna go grab my guys. We'll stop through, man. Y'all, you know, you got something to smoke or some shit, something like that, you know. These guys like, man, this guy right here, dude. You know, and I'm really thinking he probably called them after they got out that video, you know. That's just a bad move, man. You have to pay attention to stuff like that. When people start warning you, take heed of that stuff, man, and try to show as much respect as possible and try to get off that phone. And you can call them afterwards and be private about it. Look, man, I apologize for stepping on y'all toes like that, man. I ain't mean to use y'all name, this, that. I retract all of that. You know, you start retracting all this stuff you're saying, you know. They gave him the opportunity, he let it fly over his head. They warned him, they told him all the warning signs, what you doing wrong here, you need to fall back, this, and that. He kept skipping over it. Then he tried to stand on it, which would be offensive to these guys. You call this man Supreme Team and all this stuff. They take all that stuff as disrespect, you know. And so they really cut to the chase. We ain't laughing with you no more, or whatever. This, that, and the third. He even offered to stop by. I'll come get a couple guys. We'll stop by. Then he talking about other people's cases, and some other guy got caught up on a carjacking. Then he started talking about his own buddy. Oh, he broke it, this, and that. He ain't got no money. They started pressing him. What your pockets like? I'm broke too. You know, he's trying to be friendly at this time. He's trying to fit in. You know, so and they know this guy. They know what's going on. So it got to the point where they ready to get off the video. This guy even asked them, okay, play my music over there. He constantly trying to be friendly with these guys. You know, and that was just that on that, man. There was a lot of stuff going on in that video. You all can go find. I'm not gonna play the video myself. You know, I just don't like looking at stuff that happen to people that come back and, you know, but it's important information. If you want to look for the video. It's out there on the internet right now. And I think this is a serious case of a guy that wanted some attention. I hate to really say this, man. I really, really do. I really hate this guy. Took the risk like that to get some attention. And started mentioning these people's names and, you know, talking about what's going on in the streets. You don't really have the authority to do that. You gotta have some real authority to step out on something like that. And he thought and expected these people to vouch for him, but they actually called him and tell him, look, you're making a mistake right here. And he let all that stuff fly over his head. Now, where the setup come in at with the club and getting them here, getting them there. They say these guys are shot, killed upstairs and dragged downstairs somewhere. They got a couple of people arrested over this case right here. But this is a learning lesson, though, man. You were trying to be an entertainer or something like that. You feel like somebody's getting more attention than you. Then you need something you're not doing. Maybe it's not just the music. I'm sure you're a great rapper. I'm sure you're a great writer. This and that. You know, but this social media can be very tempting. And you can sit around and watch these vlogs and people be very open about their lifestyle and stuff. But those people got some type of people that are vouch for all of that. They got paperwork they can show they've been through all X, Y, and Z. You know, they got so many vlogs out there very open about what's going on in the street. But a lot of this stuff is authentic people, you know. And like I said, you all can go watch the video yourselves. I think it's a tragic thing that 3 people actually got shot and killed. I think it was risky business to get on and start mentioning people's names, talking about this person's a snitch, especially if you don't have no paperwork on these people. And you have to say, what did you even have going on with these other people that's supposed to be the snitch? According to this guy, he just seen a bunch of stories that's supposed to be vouching for the other person. He just got tired of seeing those people vouch from this guy who's really on some he say, she say stuff. Somebody told him this other guy was a snitch or something. There's no bona fide certified paperwork. He even said it himself in the video. So, but again, man, smash that like button, click that subscribe button, click that notification button. And again, we use our platforms really to try to school people to the street the mental aspect of it, not just all the street rules. And some of these words and stuff, when they get in, especially when they get hip hop, it starts being overused and commercialized. And the snitching thing is just definitely overruled. It's overused. It's definitely overused, but that don't give you a right to get on a platform and start ranting about this person over here is a snitch, especially if you ain't got nothing going on with that person. Like there's no indication he has something going on with this person who's supposed to be the snitch. And even all that sounds confusing. So, again, smash that like button. Gangsta's Paradise. Catch me in my next video. And I appreciate people keeping up with the channel. People still watching the archive stuff, the throwback stuff. People still subscribing. I appreciate all that. One love.